So we are back on it. We are gonna strip the whole entire car down, fully bare shell as such, because we need to finish off some welding and get the interior painted. So everything needs to come out. So I may look at making a spit for the car so I can rotate it nicely, because I've got to do some welding underneath. So we're gonna basically remove the front and rear crash bars, and hopefully the spit will attach to them. But we'll see. The main priority at the minute is to get it stripped down and take a look at some of the welding that needs to be done inside. Alright, so we're at the point where we need to take a look at the wiring. Obviously, it's an absolute mess. This is obviously all going to have to be tidied. We're going to have to put a multi-block connector on the back here because this is completely unacceptable for usage. This car obviously was never meant to go into competition in the slightest. We were supposed to test it a couple of times, then strip it all down before getting it ready. So a lot of the stuff that is actually on here, we wouldn't have had on here, like all the fire extinguishers, the lights and the rear view mirrors, and plenty of stuff that's now in the way and wrapped around other stuff because we've had to sort of bust it through scrutineering when it wasn't really ready to go through. But nonetheless, we'll just waft over that one like it didn't happen, eh, John? All right, I'm slowly taking it all apart. Battery's out. The dash has just come out. Obviously, I haven't pulled it quite out yet. I've rewired part of the center console to the switch panel already. I'm gonna obviously put a multi-plug in so we can just disconnect the whole center console, and obviously tidying up all that wiring, which is, whew, yeah. Front off, I've just gone round and inspected everything that I can see. Everything looks pretty good. There doesn't seem to be any worries. There's a few things that are bent and out of shape on the front bars, like these little supports, and the same on the rear actually. A few things that are a little bit bent up as he's gone into the front tyres and into the back with the tyres. Obviously, as I strip it down, I'm going to go across everything, make sure there's nothing untoward as I'm looking around. But everything seems pretty good. I think we're pretty close. There's a few alterations that I've noted down as I've been building anyway, but I think we're good. So now I'm going to get around to draining all the fluids. We've got the AccuSump disconnect, the water lines, power steering cooler, nitrous lines, all the wiring. Hopefully we can tidy some of that up as well. Not that it's that much of a mess in the engine bay, but it's a complicated engine bay, that's for sure. So I've got it pretty much clear now. Stripping it out was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. And I only need that many tools to get it to the state that it's at. So that's not bad. Rad's out, all the coolant pipes are out. A little bit of pain in the arse. Obviously we've had some leakage inside in the front and back. I've cleaned it up now. But that pipe goes down, along, and then back up. Yeah. But that's, you know, a lot of crap that I've cleared up as well, all tyre rubber, general dirt and stuff that's got caught underneath the seat, but it's actually, I mean, most of it I've got out, but I haven't hoovered it yet. Still got some electrics inside, fuel lines, and I need to rip out the last bits of the fire extinguisher system, and then we're a lot closer. Around the front, we've got all the coolant out now. Well, obviously that's about 10 litres, but I think I probably lost to 2 litres. So you're looking about 12 litres for the entire system, maybe slightly more. I've lost a bit, but got the wiring loom pulled through now. It's still the stock LS1 loom that's just been converted to the link system, or, you know, the link plugs. Fuel system's got to come off. I've still got some power steering stuff to drop down. I think I'm just going to take the whole power steering pump off, so I don't need to worry too much about the rest of the fluid. It is going to come out as you see it pretty much. I'm going to leave all this on because you've got the air temp nitrous plumbed in, and it's pretty, yeah, it's not the nicest thing to whip apart. So there's the coolant system on the floor with the electric water pump. I'm probably going to add another one of these bleeds, these little tiny bleeds, on the top of this pipe, which is under there, just to allow bleeding it. It's just a pain to bleed, obviously, with those pipes that go up and down. So there's the front crash bar. It's super light. I don't remember it being this light, but you can literally lift this with one finger. There's a little bit of damage to it where he's had a couple of little knocks, but it's in pretty good shape. So around the back, obviously nothing's painted. This little cross member here, which is basically just like 1 centimetre square tube, had a little bit of damage. So this bar here has also had some damage where he went backwards into the tyre wall. I'll put a link up in the top right hand corner to that video. So I've got to whip out the rest of the fuel system around the back. I'm going to put a bucket under and drain it through. So we're getting there. Hopefully a couple more days and I'll have most of the gear off. I don't know what I'm going to leave in and leave out and tape round for the painting. He hasn't decided on a colour yet, but he was saying he wanted white. I'm hoping to put it on a spit. The spit will obviously go to these bolt patterns here, and without the subframes, the engine, gearbox, diffs, etc. Hopefully it won't be too heavy. I don't think the cage weighs a massive amount really. Just remove the exhaust and the prop shaft, and it looks like the pallet jack is actually going to lift up the car. So it's going straight across the bottom of the chassis. Once we get the gearbox, engine and diff, front subframe, rear subframe with all the bits attached to them, I think she's going to go up all right. Before I pull the engine and gearbox out, we're going to line up for the new shifter and get rid of this one. This cube shifter has caused us, well, I mean, a number of issues straight away, because they didn't do, they sell a shifter and then a shifter knob that don't actually attach to each other. So we had to mess about with that. But that aside, we've had the leaking issue, which we've tried to solve a couple of times. Still no luck really, it's still pushing out of somewhere. We're moving over to a sequential shifter, as I said. So the plate for that needs to be able to sit inside, and it's quite a large unit, so we need to make sure we've got full clearance. So I'd imagine quite a bit more of this is going to be cut out. The plate, so that's the plate for the shifter there. So we've definitely got to cut some out. So the plate goes that way around, I believe. I'll grab the shifter and double check. Let's just do that. So it's an S1 sequential shifter, and if I can, so I've just checked, and the shifter goes in that way. So yeah, looks pretty smart, looks quite nice. Apparently it's really quite a straightforward installation, but the main thing for us is cutting out all of this space so we can actually get the shifter in there. So I've placed the plate down there, and you can see obviously we're going to need to cut out quite a bit around here. I'm going to try and leave this corner. So I got most of that cut out. I had to make a couple of adjustments, but she's basically in there. But this piece here needs to be cut out much further, obviously rounded all off. But that will give enough clearance for when we have engine rock under load. So motor's out, I'll put a cover over that, and then we'll start taking apart the front and rear subframes. Should be fairly straightforward. Got it on the pallet jack so we can stabilise the car when we lift it up, but hopefully that will be the next thing. So I've drained out the tank already, and that'll have to come out too, and then hopefully we can spin it. So it turns out I need a little bit of block of wood in there just to balance it out, as it's probably quite old, that thing, but it certainly worked. I've got it balanced now. Same with the rear, it's gone up fairly well, dropped off the pins. So I've got it on axle stands now, and we'll pull that out and hopefully we'll be able to get it on the spit. So there's all the front suspension, rear suspension, diff, drive shafts, and the engine under that cover. So hopefully I'll get this lot off to powder coating, and then that'll be back and I can start building it up. And by that time we should have this sandblasted and all the welding finished off. So this happened. This is what we're going to sandblast the car in. We were going to try and use a gazebo, but that didn't work, so we've made a frame which would cost 130 quid in wood and 12 quid in cellophane wrap or pallet wrap. Hopefully that'll keep all the dust and stuff in. I've got the extraction fan going down this end here. Car's still on the spit, as you can see. So we will hopefully give it a go. So I did turn it on very quickly just to test it, and we've got a fine grit currently in the pot itself, and I've got like 7 bar going into this thing. I didn't turn it right up, but I literally opened the valve for a split second and it stripped it right down to bare metal. I'm assuming it won't continue to do that as the nozzle wears, but it's all working out pretty well. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos, subscribe, hit that bell and get the notifications. You can also check us out on Facebook. The link's going to be in the description. Thanks for watching and we'll see you soon.